Junji Ito is easily one of the most famous modern horror masters we have. Uzumaki is a book that has kept me awake a few years ago at night because it's just so amazingly crazy. The graphics are scary, the story itself is unpredictable. Based on the title itself about spirals, that's what Uzumaki means, spirals or vortices. It is set in this fictional city where it seems to be plagued by spirals that appear everywhere, on people, on their heads, on their bodies, on walls, at different places, and the kind of horror that Junji Ito is able to convey via all this in a very rational way is what makes this manga so much entertaining. The horror is timeless. The horror is something that can happen to anyone at any time. It is just so new when you read this book. It takes in all the different familiar tropes that you have in horror, and it retells it in a way that is really disconcerting. What is interesting about this manga is that you really don't know what the spirals mean. There's something very subversive about the use of symbols in this manga. In fact, if anything, the spirals mean the lack of the ability to symbolize. And so there is a very fundamental destabilizing of our sense of wanting to make sense of the world. And this is a very powerful idea in this book. The spirals disrupt everything from familiar relationships to home. The spirals take you out of your familiar zone. Junji Ito is wonderful as a creator of horror because he brings together so many tropes of horror out there and he just blends them together in a very ridiculous way. There's something about the horror that he does that is on one hand very absurd, very surrealist, but yet at the same time it's highly entertaining and you cannot stop yourself from being drawn into this very scary but foolish looking world. I like Uzumaki because of firstly its scope. It doesn't focus on one thing, it moves quickly from a kind of romance setting to kind of world-shaking apocalyptic setting. And also it has very interesting ways in which spirals are drawn into nature. The art itself is really very gripping. It makes you imaginatively feel the possibilities of the unexpected.
Join me as I conjure the Uzumaki in how to fall in love with classics.